let's start at the end and work back, because then how that temperature and humidity, does it need to change from when you're in flower into drying and curing, or can you run simultaneously? Because I know some people just shut off their light, run their grow, and that's essentially their drying and curing space. So is this a rule of thumb that you want to keep it around there, do you think, for drying and curing for 60-60, so 60% humidity, 60 degrees Fahrenheit? Or do you think that this is just somewhat hearsay? And I know you've
Start
had
with the
people on your
money
show.
info first.
Money info.
Well, there's
Dollars.
a study that is out there by the CRC, and Dr. Allison Justice, shout out to her, I had her on the podcast, and she talked about this, which is the 60-60 study that they had, traditional 60-60 method versus Canatrol, their recommended methods, which was 68 degrees Fahrenheit at a 54 dew point, which equates to about a 60 to 61, I believe, % humidity. So it's a higher temp is what they were drying at. And they saw, I believe it was a 14% increase in the retention of terpenes. So through the drying process. So kind of flip-flop from what we're used to of reducing the temperature during drying will maintain that potency, right? This is showing, it's 68% and it's maintaining it. Has to really do with like the swing in the environment. I think it's the traditional 60-60 method when you're doing it in a grow tent, for example, and you've got the fans going and you've got exhaust. Some people have exhaust. Everybody's setup could be a little bit different, right? But traditionally in a grow room or a bathroom or an open room, some people have humidifiers going, some people have dehumidifiers going, heater, air conditioner. So that it goes up and down quite a bit right now. Some people swear that, oh, my drying conditions are stable, just as stable as the Canatrol. It's like, okay, it's kind of subjective in that avenue, but what the studies were saying, trying to back things up, the studies were saying that the higher temperature, the 68 degrees Fahrenheit, actually retained more than the 60-60 traditional method. Now it's a Canatrol versus the grow tent style, I believe, is what or maybe they were in a room. Not too sure of the details on that one, but yeah, I thought that portion was interesting when it comes to the potency relating to the dry.
I'm not going to argue with someone who thinks...
Why?
No.
Well, hold on. Here, one last thing. Here's the
Please,
controversy
please.
behind it is that the CRC is sponsored by Canatrol, right? Like it's funded by Canatrol.
Sounds like the autoflower
for them
cup.
to do that study. And so like...
No offense.
This is kind of a deeper subject. Like, where does funding come from for the scientists, right? We don't really get that government-backed stuff to come in
from
or our industry,
yeah.
right? So private companies is the one funding these studies. Obviously, a private company is going to fund a study that potentially makes, helps improve their product sales, right? Whether or not it's rigged, the studies are rigged or not,
Like
that's where you got to look at Dr. Allison Justice and the people who did that study. You gotta understand, like, are they ethical about it or not, right? And some people, oh no, they're not ethical because they didn't pay by Canatrol. Other people like, yeah, we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They're scientists. They do this.
Have good results. They're going to show good results. They're not going to lie. You buy their product. They give that exact, ratio, and it sucks. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's one thing I've learned in this space is people are too conspiracy minded. There's no reason a brand is going to spend all that money on white papers or on just a study in general and put out false information and then sell a product that uses that false information and then have the results not be there. Like,
yeah, so it's a kind of split in regards to that particular study. But yeah, that study potentially shows that it is retaining that potency. It is retaining that flavor, right? The smell, the aromas that come from it. It's retaining all that. And a Canatrol at 68 degrees Fahrenheit versus your traditional 60-60. So yeah, that's one thing in regards to the growing better tasting.